Yeah, well, I think it's a couple of things. There are things that are inside of our control and outside of our control. So, we can increase stress and a sense of suffering by the things that we tell ourselves. My boss doesn't think I'm a valuable team member, or, this colleague is being passive aggressive and doesn't like me. Now, we don't know if that's true, but just the story alone causes distress. So there are things that you can be in control over your thoughts, recognizing, I don't know that for sure. That's not real time data. That's my assumption or a projection of what I'm experiencing inside myself. So that can be a cause of stress. But then externally, there's been a lot of changes. There's more of a push to return to work in person. And, there have been a lot of layoffs over the last several months, a lot of changes in that way. So I think, it's most important to recognize the things that are in your control, the stories that you tell yourself, and managing and recognizing that those are just thoughts so that you can create more internal peace. The things that you can't control, they deserve freedom from your mind. You can't control if, the market is going to suddenly turn. So, worrying about it doesn't help anymore. But, so things like even just titrating what you're reading every day, what you're watching every day, anything you take into your system, what you're reading, watching, eating, hearing is going to impact your mental health. And that's either going to be more stressful or not. But it's also important to recognize what or setting an intentional plan as to what you're doing for yourself as far as self-care when you're at work, right? Do you have specific boundaries around what time you finish work? And do you hold those boundaries and respect them for yourself? And then also, if they're crossed by someone, letting them know that, oh, I'm not able to work past 5 o'clock, right? But also taking care of yourself in all of the areas of life, right? Making sure that you're connected to good relationships, that you're eating, well, getting good nutrition, getting good sleep, having fun and recreation in your life. I've worked with so many clients that recognize that things are out of balance and work feels even more stressful because they're not filling their cup in other ways with play or with hobbies, with a sense of community, or maybe their spiritual life, or making sure that their finances are in order. So we really have to pay attention to all areas of your life pie so that you can reduce, work being 90% of it, because that's a lot of emphasis to place on work. And it may also be stressful thinking work has to do everything for me. It has to fulfill all of my needs. And sometimes it's just a rebalance that helps put things in perspective.